Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel TCNT, which stands for True Crime and Trials. So today I'm continuing with the Mark Sievers trial, and I forgot to mention on my last video, on day 7 the state rested its case and the defence put forward a motion for acquittal. They put forward their arguments, the state put forward their arguments, and the acquittal was denied. So day 8 is the defence's turn, but before this even got started, there was a problem with a juror. One of the other jurors noticed that one particular juror, he didn't think he was listening properly, so they got the juror out, and he actually wears a hearing aid, and sometimes people can hear in the court, you know, the interference with it, but the juror reassured everybody that he could actually hear very well and there was no problem. So the first witness up for the defence was David Leppard again, and back to the issue of Curtis Wright's wife Angela Wright and her having a burner phone. David Leppard didn't speak to Angela about it, and then he asked him about the themes that he used when interrogating Curtis Wright. Obviously, along with the life insurance theme, he used marital turmoil, and he'd also indicated that Teresa was going to move away, but he didn't actually have any proof of that. So, you know, it's just pointing out that David Leppard was using everything he could to get, you know, Curtis to confess to something, whether it be truth or lie. The cross-examination, it then comes up that Leppard and his team did actually do a full investigation into Angie Wright, and they couldn't prove that she'd been to Florida, and she had no reason to want Teresa dead. And if David said if he'd thought she was involved, he would have arrested her, but he didn't think so. Now, I'm kind of with the defence on this one. I think she should have been investigated more. I mean, why did she have a burner phone, as well as a personal phone? And, you know, Mark Sievers is being charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy, and he didn't have to be actually in Florida to be, you know, charged. So it should have been the same with Angie Wright, and I think more should have been looked into with her. The next witness, Kym Vaughn, was called up again, you know, the lead crime scene technician, and they were going through a document that was found in the Sievers shredder. What they did was they taped it all back together and they took a copy of it for evidence, and it was disability allowance insurance, which was in Teresa's name but wasn't signed. And then the defence brings up the dog dishes, and this photo was taken from the laundry room and the entranceway into the kitchen, and his whole point is showing the position of the dog dishes. And Curtis Wright's story is based on he snuck up behind Teresa and he knocked one of the bowls over, but the picture of the bowl is facing the wrong way for him to have kicked it. So obviously he's still trying to discredit Curtis Wright's testimony, because part of his plea deal is he has got to tell the truth, and so the defence is intent on proving that he hasn't been telling the truth. The next picture is of the fridge with a yardstick to show the blood stains on it. And the blood stains went up to under 36 inches. And she had swabbed the toilet flushers and sent them to a private DNA lab, and she received swabs from the rental car and other various DNA swabs, including swabs from Teresa's hands and nails. Including swabs from Teresa and hand and nail clippings. 2 hammers were collected for tests. The one that was found on the kitchen floor and one under the car in the garage. The one under the car in the garage, blood wasn't found on it, but a DNA swab was taken. Cross-examination, the state asks about the DNA test results, and they didn't give any further results in the case. Just that the fact that Teresa's DNA came back on most of it. Next, Mayra Simmons, the one that analyses the burner phones and, you know, all the pings and everything from the tower dumps and creating maps of each tower that burner phones pinged from. Again, showing tower hits for Curtis and Angela Wright's burner phones. And yeah, nobody seems to have any explanation as to why Angela has a burner phone. I don't know many people that have a burner phone. I mean, I know people that have a personal phone and a work phone, but a personal phone and a burner phone, it doesn't bring up any reason with that. Right, Dr. Petraeus again. So, it comes out that Dr. Petraeus' wife would text with Mark Sievers now and again, which kind of made me think, why? Because Dr. Petraeus said he didn't know Mark very well, and not enough to be in a text exchange with him. So why? I don't understand why his wife would be. But this is a really uncomfortable examination because the defence attorney is picking at Dr. Petraeus, and because he's asking about Petraeus' wife and the fact that she is now a lawyer for the state, for the Florida state, but she's in a different department, but still she's working for the state. But when he was asked that question, Dr. Petraeus said he couldn't understand what it had to do with the case, and to be honest, I want to know too. But as I've found in this case, a lot of questions are asked, and you're left wondering, well, what's the answer? And you end up listening to the testimony and thinking, well, what was the point of that question and what's the answer? And again, the cross was just clarifying that Dr. Petraeus' wife does work for the state, but she works in a different office. Next is Monica Lyons. She's an estate planning attorney, and this testimony was a long one and boring, and I don't see... The whole point of it is to prove that Teresa and Mark both had life insurance policies. They both had, what was it, a $2.5 million policy each. Teresa had a $3,000 one, and I think Mark had a... Oh no, did I say $300,000? And Mark had one for $100,000. So the defence is trying to prove that Mark didn't kill his wife, and he especially didn't kill his wife for life insurance. So she was going into extreme detail about how these trusts work, about beneficiaries, about trustees. It was a long, drawn-out testimony, and I started to lose interest, to be honest, and I don't know what the jury thought or if they could remember everything that she said. But the cross-examination was quite good, because when the state attorney got up and started asking her questions, she'd really waffle on, and the prosecution attorney was trying to reel her back in, you know, to stop her talking so much, because she just wanted an answer to the question she was asking. And at one point, she actually objected herself to get the judge to tell her that, you know, just answer the question. You don't have to give a 5-minute answer. Answer the question. You could tell she was in the defence's favour and on Mark's side. I mean, that was blatantly obvious. And she was trying really hard to prove that this murder wasn't based on the life insurance money. And it was just a massive tug of war, because the state attorney was just... I mean, she must have really researched these policies and these trusts and everything, because when she stood up, she really sounded like she knew what she was talking about. And she did actually catch Monica out a few times. I mean, that was really enjoyable to watch. And that was it for day 8. So, a quick day. I thought the defence, you know, were going to have some really good witnesses, but it was just recall, and then, you know, the massive testimony from the estate attorney. So yeah, now it's waiting to see if Mark testifies. I'm not sure if he will, because you can do yourself more damage. You never know if it's going to work in your favour. I don't think he will, but we shall see. So, until next time, bye for now.